Just to let you know, I am recording this session. If you do need to share this with your team afterwards, absolutely no problem. We'll be sharing a recorded version. But I love the fact that you've joined us live. It means that you can ask questions and give us some feedback, which is always really, really welcome. So thank you so much for joining us today, this morning. Your time is really important. I know you guys have been really busy. It is so exciting that all the venues are all back thriving again. And I don't think everyone's been this busy for a long time. The most important thing for us is to make sure that you feel really supported. And so over the last 6 months, we've been doing an enormous amount of research and development, trying to serve you guys better. And that includes putting out a few new extra features and also refining some of the features that we already have. In light of this, we just wanted to share some of the stuff that we've been doing. So what we're going to cover today is some quite exciting pieces that I think are really going to change the game for you. A lot of clients have said it would be really great to be able to do table allocations. And that includes being able to put in attendees on an ad hoc basis, but also upload and import a list of attendees that allows you to be able to then assign them to different tables. The very cool bit about this functionality is you can also collaborate better with your end client and allow them to be able to put their clients, to be able to put all the guests on the tables, and they can share it with their end client, which also means that for a wedding, you don't have to have the responsibility of doing the tables. At the end game is this also gives the venue amazing dietary requirement reporting and also a summaries for catering. So I'm going to just hand over to David. David's going to be able to show us a new piece of functionality. And please let me know if you've got any questions. Put stuff in the chat. We're here to help. So over to you, David.
Great. Thanks, Mel, and welcome everybody. So the first thing I'd like to go through with you this morning, as Mel mentioned, is the guest allocations. So I've got a plan here that I'm going to prepare. And as I'm doing this, I just want to also show you a few features that clients may not be aware of. They've been in the system for a little while now, just things like copying and saving to favorites and just things like that, just as we go. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a stage to my floor plan. Now, yes, you can use your search functionality and type in stage, and anything that's been pre-set up in our master shapes, you'll have listed here. However, to make things even simpler, I just want to introduce people to favorites in case they're not aware of it. So favorites is your own list of shapes that you can either create yourself or use existing master shapes and drag back here. This gives you a great list that you can work on, so you're not having to search every time and go through the hundreds and hundreds of shapes that we have pre-set up. So for example, what I've done is I've created this 4-piece stage with band. So I'm just going to drag this out and put it on the plan there. Now, let's say that I have this set up. To save me having to set it up every single time, I just want to quickly show you favorites. So I can click this, or I can select all these items here. I can group. And then what I'll do, I'm just going to drag them back to favorites. Sorry. And drag them back to favorites there. I'm just going to call them DJ box and apply. Okay, now what's happened is what I've got now is my DJ box, and I can bring this out at any time and use this on the floor plan. So I'm just going to place that there. The 6-foot table, which I've also brought up from an existing master shape, I'm going to drag out on the plan now. As you can see, I've just placed it up here, and we can use our copy buttons. We all, most of us know about the copy buttons and copying down and so forth. However, to make things even simpler, what you can do is I'm just going to delete those. I'm going to push that table up there. I'm going to hold down the Shift key. I'm just going to click and drag to fill this particular space here. And that now fills my plan. It gets rid of the table that you had selected and now fills my plan on the screen. So the next thing we need to do before we can allocate is number these tables. So I'll quickly just select all these. I will come up to table numbering zigzag. And from here, we have these different options. I'll just select the first one. Okay, perfect. So now we're ready to allocate guests. On the toolbar up the top, we have guest allocation. So if we click on that, so what I've done now is I've pre-filled the number of guests already in here for this demonstration. So to do that, you can click the Add Guest button and manually enter someone in, like so. Okay, you can then go through and select which table. And as you filter through the tables, you will see that any existing people that are on there have already been listed. So I might just put on table 5 and move it around, say, to table 6 here. I can also choose what sort of person that might be in the adult, child, or high chair, just for report reasons, and also add a dietary. The system is pre-built with a number of existing dietaries. However, these can be edited and also added as well. So we can create our new one here, and we'll just do a test one, and we'll give it a color, and we'll go save. I'll select that test one up here, and I'm also going to select gluten-free and done. Now I can save that. So that's the manual way of editing and or adding someone in on the floor plan. However, what I can also do is import from a spreadsheet. So what happens here is when you import, the system will, you'll go through and map the field. So first name, it'll map the field to whatever your spreadsheet comes in as, and you can choose what column in the system against what column is on your spreadsheet, and so forth. Now, let me just save that for a moment. Okay, so as I've saved, what you can see now, let me just turn on a couple of other functions here on the tables. Go to modify table. I'm just going to turn on the chair numbers. Okay, now as you can see, as I zoom in, you will see now the people have been allocated to the various chairs. So as we move across the allocations list, we also have a share option. So once we go to a share option, we can enter in the type of event, the date, submission deadline. This is an important feature. So you can set a submission deadline, which will prevent your client from allocating guests after a certain date. We're very strict on security. So obviously what we've done here is put a password on that as well for that link. Once you've set those parameters up, you can click your guest list URL, and from there you can then share this link. You can copy it and paste it into an email, or you can just have a quick preview of this as well. So let me just open this up. So this is what you're about to see, is what your client will see for allocating guests, your bride and groom or your PCO allocating the guests here. Okay, so as you can see, it's a screen which just has the tables, and it also has the pre-allocated guests that we had before. So again, similar to what we said before, they can now go through and add them and allocate their guests. And when they're done, they mark as complete, and then you're notified on your end to let you know that that's now complete.
And I think the beauty of this is it's a really pared down page. So it's really, really simple. It's very clear what they have to do. There's no training or anything involved. You can just simply share the link, and they can come in and be able to allocate their own guests.
Yeah, absolutely. They can also, your client can also have various print options. So floor plan only, they can do alphabetical, guest list, by table, and so forth and so forth. And if they wish, they can also download the allocation list as a XML, and they can use that as well. As we move over to the last tab, there's just summaries here of the various tables and the percentages of what's been allocated. We also have the seating types, and we also have, if we come down here, the tables and also the dietary requirements. So that's the one I entered before, and you can see here the dietaries and where they're sitting on the table. So if I go back now to this one, as they save, this will be updated accordingly. And again, you also have the same options here for printing, exporting, and exporting the guest list as well, and also the summary.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Dave. That's great. Just before we move on, are there any questions in regards to guest allocation? There's nothing as yet in the chat, but just to let you know, this is coming really, really soon, just in a matter of weeks. When it does get officially launched, we're just doing some final testing on it, but as you can see, it's pretty ready to go. We will actually send out an announcement, and we'll also give you a recording of this webinar, and there'll also be some training recordings. So it's pretty user-friendly. You can just jump on and start just using it straight away. If you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to the team. We're always here and happy to help at any stage, so just let us know. All right, so the other thing that we wanted to talk about was live links. So as a venue or as an event producer, one of the most important things is about to collaborate with your client. And it's really hard to get people on the phone. People are really busy. And so you probably only get 1 or 2 opportunities to have those, conversations, and to also book in the date and be able to, finalize the event. So you want to make the most of everyone's time. And so we've been thinking about how we could help you achieve this. So obviously right now you can just download a PDF of a plan and share it with somebody. And that's great. But what we've been thinking is a live link would be really great. So there's 2 different ways you could do this. You can send the live link to the client. You can both jump on a Zoom and make changes on the fly, or you can send the link to the client and allow them in their own time to make changes. Now, the first thing I said when I heard about that is, but what if they want to change the stage or something that they shouldn't? But the development team have thought of that, and basically everything is locked in layers. The only thing that they could move is, for example, or change is, for example, the tables. So I'd love to hear your feedback about this functionality. It's something that we're pretty excited about, and it's something that's in a first phase. So take a look, let us know what you think, and please look out for a survey. We're going to be sending out a survey that just asks a little bit more information about how this functionality might be able to serve you and how you'd like it to look, and if there's anything that we've missed. So please keep a lookout for that. And if you could just take 5 minutes to fill that in when it comes in, we'd really appreciate it. So I'm just going to hand over to you, Dave, and so you can show live links.
Perfect. Great. Thank you, Mel.
Cool.
So what we've done here is we just pre-set up a plan, stage. We've got a nice dance floor here and some round tables. Now, as Mel mentioned before, when we go to our layers, these projector screens have been set up on layers. Okay, so we can turn them on and off. You can see that there's a locked item here as well. So as Mel said, anything that's locked on layers, your end user or your client won't be able to make changes to those. So only the things you want them to make changes to, that's entirely up to yourself. Great. So what we do now, we've got a button here called share. Okay, and similar to the toggle switch that we had in allocations, we can turn this on. Okay, and what that's done now is created this link. And this link, when you open it, this allows you to, you can copy that link as well. And once we open it, this is the screen again that your client will see, which allows them to make changes based on your settings. So, for example, again, it's a nice clean version, so it's very easy for them to make the changes that you wish them to make changes to. So, for example, you'll see here that I can't touch these projector screens because they were locked on that particular layer. However, what I can do is I can go into, say, this table. I can right-click it and go modify. And for example, I can change the number of chairs. So that's just one of the settings that you can choose if you wish for your client to be able to do that. And they can go through and make changes to those if they wish. Okay, so just for this demonstration, what I'll do is I'll just move this table up a little bit, and I'm just going to place it there, just so you know we've made a change.
The other thing that I think is really cool about that is you can let clients do it, but you can also send this to the client and you can be live online. You can be discussing it together, and make the changes for them on the fly, but they can actually see it changing on their version. And then they have this version that they can have their inventory report. But also, I really like this new banner down the bottom, Dave. Do you want to just talk about that?
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely. So this banner down the bottom here, these are automatically populated. So for example, the event date, the event name, we've got the plan revised, which automatically updates when the plan is changed. And we've also got the drawn by as well. So this automatically populates when you save the plan, and which allows you to keep a record, very easily know when this has been modified and you've got the latest version that you will send to clients and so forth. So I'll show you a bit more on that on the edit screen. I'll just save this for the moment. Save. Yes, I want to save the floor plan. Let's try, sorry, 1 second. Okay. Perfect. So when we now go back to our plan, what I'm going to do is just reopen this one here. And as you can see, this is the updated version. We had moved the table to the right and changed a few numbers here. So the client has now made those changes. What you can do is, if you don't wish to share that plan any longer, that's there, you're done with that, you can turn that off like so, and that the client can no longer access that link. And if you want to as well, you can come down and approve the floor plan once it's done, and we'll go okay to that. So that now gives us a little date stamp that I'll put down the bottom here, and that floor plan is now approved with the date down the bottom.
Love it. That's so great. Cool. So at the moment, there's no questions in the chat.
Sure.
We did have a good question yesterday, though, when we were showing the Asia Pacific customers, and that was being able to rotate tables.
Sure.
Yeah, and I thought that was actually quite interesting. I don't know if anyone's interested, but we might show that if that's okay. And please think about some questions, or if there's anything that you want to ask, whether it's a new feature that you'd like to see, or whether it's a question on the functionality that we have right now. Because you might have a question you think, oh, it probably doesn't do that, but if you ask, you never know that we might. There's so many cool pieces of functionality in EventDraw.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We do find that a lot, that a person will ask that question, and we do have it, or it's on our list of development options, and we can bring that forward when it becomes a popular item. So a couple of things with rotating. So let me just firstly, I'm just going to turn on, if I just grab all these, actually a quicker way to grab all your tables. I'll just show you this now. If you go to the inventory report, okay, I want to select all my round tables, and because they're sort of spread out all through this venue, I'm just going to double click them from the report, and now they're all selected. So that gives them the opportunity to do things like this. I can go to modify table, and I might make them all 10s, for example. So I also might say, you know what, the client's changed their mind, they want a cabaret style now. So let's just go, say, to 6. And we'll go cabaret. As you can see, they're facing sort of to the left. So we can toggle this here to rotate them around, like so, for the rotation angle. And we might just spread them out a little further from the spacing level. Okay. And I might just, you can also type in the angle if you wish as well.
Amazing. We actually did have a question come through, and it's interesting. We had a similar question yesterday. Can you please show how to set the service parameter? So we did discuss this yesterday about egress.
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely. So what you can do is, the best way would be to put your egress on a layer. So to do that, we can add a shape, and I'll bring it over here. If you need to dial in a particular size, you can go to your size and position, and I'm just going to make that, say, 6 feet. Actually, sorry, I'll just change my settings here. Make that feet. Okay, so I'm just going to make that 6 foot. by 6 foot. Okay. You can also drag that out as well, of course, to match what you want to match there. But let's select that. We can go to our style tab. We can give it a color. Might just sort of give it a nice orange color there, and we'll place that on a layer. So if I go to layer manager, I'm just going to put no build area. We'll go rename, and we'll add that to the no build. So now, and if we lock that, that can now sit on a layer, and you can copy those down as well. So if I just copy this down, I can then place that, say, in front of that one as well. And from there, I can move the tables into a different location. I may also want to, and I can relock that layer again. I can also go into, I'll go back to my inventory report, and I'll double click on those. I can also add a table boundary as well. So if I come down here and show table boundary, that will give me an idea. If you want to manually move your tables around, you can use your table boundary just to sort of match those as well.
Fantastic. That's great. So I'm just wondering if there are any other questions that people have or any comments about the functionality, either from table allocations or live links. If there's no questions, we just had another really small thing to show. We were going to talk about oval tables, David.
Yeah, sure, no problem. So you may have
a little thing that we've just done as a tweak rather than a piece of development.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm not sure if you're aware, but we did have, so if I'll just grab one of my rounds again here from my favorites. I'll just grab one of these. We've had some questions about putting colors in the actual chairs themselves. So for example, if we go to modify table, and you can click on down here to add a color, like so. If you have a number of tables, okay, and I might just bring those down this way, we can select all those in the one go, and then we can add various colors on there as well. What we had found is that the oval tables themselves weren't actually set up to be able to do colors. However, now that you can see here, we can add the colors on those as well. So anyone with oval tables out there, you'll be able to do that. You don't need to update anything. It will just happen once you go into your color name in there as well. One other thing we had a question yesterday was being able to copy items instead of coming down like this, like so. What you can also do is copy them, offset those tables. So if I just get rid of this dance floor, actually I've got that dance floor locked. I'll just unlock it. Unlock the dance floor, and let's put these up here. So I'm just going to copy that across there. And now what we can do is select all these, and using our left down button, so just to the left here, we can then copy those down as offset seating. So now if you wanted to, you could bring those across, and as you copy these across, they will go in the offset seating arrangement.
I love that. That's great. That looks really good. Cool. All right. Well, that was great, Dave. Really, really good. Cool. It looks like there aren't a lot of questions. So does that mean everyone gets an early mark? Please pipe up if you have any questions. As always, if you need any support, if you're unsure about any piece of functionality, if you have any development requests, if you have any feedback on any of the new elements that we're building and rolling out for you, please feel free to contact us. We've got Jade and Clairol and Jessa and Jay and David and myself and Abigail, and we've got a whole team, not only from a sales and account management perspective, but also from a support perspective. So I hope you're enjoying using EventDraw. I hope it's really serving you and it's helpful. Please let us know how we can help you better, because we're always happy to help. Oh, and we're doing chevron seating as well.
Just thought I'd add that in there in case people couldn't make it to our last session. So,
this is the chevron seating, but the really nice thing is Yeah, show the whole thing, Dave.
Yeah, cool.
You can actually do a, I'll let you show.
Yeah, no problem. Cool. So I've just dragged out a banquet chair. I'm just going to place it on an angle. So I can use my mouse and just drag it around sort of increments. As I drag my mouse out further though, you can see how I get finer increments to be able to do that. So that's just a little trick that we get asked to. So if I click my mouse close, it goes up to 5%, goes up to 5 degrees. However, if I drag that out, we've got a more finer option there. So you can also go to your size and position and just simply type in an angle as well. So I'll just make it like that, for example. Now, all I'm going to do is just use our copy buttons to copy down. Okay, and I'm going to select the whole lot. Now, all I have to remember here is to hold down the control key. As I hold down the control key, you'll see how these arrows, we've got these arrows here. We've only got the top, right, left, and bottom. So as we go copy right, holding down the control key, you'll see now how I can get this type of angle for my seating. Now, instead of trying to do that again on the other side, we can select the whole lot and we can hold down the shift key now and copy that to the right. Would you like to mirror the copied shapes? Yes. And now that has given us that sort of option there. We can also go up to our numbering and theatre style numbering, and we can go through now and number those. And we'll also include row letters. So we'll copy that again.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you for everyone for joining us. We really, really appreciate it. Like I said, get in contact. We're here to help. So any feedback, any support, any development ideas you have, just let us know. We'd love to help you. Have a fantastic afternoon, and we will be able to provide a recording of this this webinar just in case you have other members of the team that couldn't make it today. We will be running these every month just to making sure you're staying up to date with new technology and all the new features we've got in EventDraw. So have a wonderful afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for attending. And thank you, David.
Thank you, everyone.